With the long holiday weekend coming up, many families are packing for that last camping trip or beach getaway. And as summer draws to a close, so does the high season for Lyme disease, the fastest growing infectious disease in the country. But we're not out of the woods yet. For more information about the disease and what to look out for is Dr. Danica Moore. Dr. Danica, it's so great having you on the show. This is a really important and rather frightening topic, I've got to say, because the incidence of Lyme disease is on the rise.
It is increasing. We know that last year there were about 28,000 cases, and the CDC predicts an additional 20,000. But what's of concern is that only about 1 in 10 cases are actually reported to the CDC. So the incidence could be much higher than we know. Now, the other thing about this weekend is not only is it time for vacations and beach trips, but it's also opening weekend for soccer season all along the Northeast and the Mid-Atlantic states where the incidence of Lyme disease is the highest.
And do you think that this is why young boys between, what is it, the ages of
5 and 19
are the ones who get it the most?
Yeah, right? I think for some reason boys are attracted to running into the woods after the ball. Girls are a little less likely to do it, but of course this disease can affect anyone, any age, any gender, and any time of the year.
And you yourself
contracted
Lyme disease. Tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, and I had it at an off-season time of the year. I was diagnosed when I was a few months postpartum. I certainly hadn't gone out into the woods, but I got it in a very common way. I was babysitting my sister's dog, and the dog ran out into the woods and probably brought the tick into the house. And we should explain that this is what's called a vector-borne illness, which means the tick carries the bacterium. It's called Borrelia burgdorferi. And the bacterium gets on you through a tick bite.
All right.
All right. And the tick is called the deer tick. It's the smallest tick. It looks on your skin, it looks like a pencil point. Like if you were going to make a period at the end of a sentence, that's how small this tick is.
See, that's very alarming to me because you're saying it's as small as a pencil point, a freckle, and yet we need to do, especially when we're out, daily tick checks.
Yeah, and especially on our children. I, of course, wasn't thinking I needed to do a tick check. It was May. I wasn't out in the woods. I also didn't get the classic hallmark sign of Lyme disease is what's called the bullseye rash.
Very important. Let's talk about the symptoms because people want to know what to look out for. As you said, the bullseye rash is what everyone's heard they have to look out for, but you didn't get it.
I didn't get it.
A lot of people don't get it.
I didn't get it, and I didn't suspect I had a tick bite, so I was at a big disadvantage. I also was postpartum, so it was a red herring.
So what are the other things?
The common symptoms, if you get the bullseye rash, only about 60% of people get that. And it really looks like a target. So there's a little red area, and then there's a pale area, and then another red area around that. If you see that, go to your doctor right away and say, I have this. Or even take a picture if it's on a weekend and you can't get to the doctor right away. But the other symptoms, fevers, chills, malaise, fatigue. I had overwhelming fatigue, no energy. And then you get what's called migratory arthralgias, which I learned about in medical school, but I never understood till I had it. And that means that for a short time, maybe an hour, your knee really hurts. And then your ankle on the other side hurts for like an hour. And then your shoulder hurts. And you think you're going crazy. Right. Now, there are also neurologic complications if the disease gets advanced. And that can be facial palsies. You can have cardiac complications, so palpitations or skipped heartbeats. You can have memory loss or what they call brain fog.
But that's if you don't treat it right away, right? That's why it's so important to jump on this, within the first 24 hours?
Well, within the first week is generally good enough. You don't generally develop any symptoms till day 3 to 5. The good news is this is very successfully and easily treated with antibiotics. The bad news is
it's easy to miss.
It's easy to miss. And also the symptoms I've just described to you are the symptoms of so many other medical problems, including the flu, which is also going to be an increased incidence this coming year.
So what do you do? How do you
the other bad news, let me just give you one more bit of bad news, is that ticks also carry other infections. So you could have knowledge that you had a tick bite, you can get treated with antibiotics, and if you don't get better, your doctor needs to test you for these other tick-borne illnesses because they're not treated by the same antibiotics.
So bottom line, ticks are a big nuisance. What do we do to keep away from them? You really recommend bug repellent up to 20% DEET, right?
Yeah, prevention is huge here. If you're going into the woods, wear your soccer socks. Yes. Cover your ankles and your wrists. Wear your insect repellent. Of course, this is an issue for young children because we don't want to put too much insect repellent, especially with 20% DEET on little kids. But also
you think
we try to
the
reduce
dangers are outweighed by the protection that it provides?
That's something to ask your doctor if
Okay.
you have little children.
Right.
We want to reduce the brush around our houses. Proper landscaping is very important. Of course, if you're in an area like I am in New Jersey where deer are everywhere and Lyme disease is endemic, you have to try to reduce the deer population.
And we should say it's found everywhere, all 50 states, correct?
Yes.
But there are some states that have a higher
Well, this has been
incidence.
referred to as a 13 colonies disease because the original 13 colonies do have the highest incidence. However, Wisconsin and Minnesota are also in the top 10 states that are affected. The fact is, it's been detected everywhere at any time of
And
year.
quickly, I just want to get in because we don't have a lot of time, but some proper removal techniques, because it's important to do this right.
Especially all the soccer moms and dads, keep a special tweezer in your car with your first aid kit because you're going to need it this weekend. Keep one at home in your first aid kit and resist the urge to pull it out with your fingers. If you see a tick of any kind, try to get your special tweezers and get at the root of it and gently remove it. Make sure you get the head. Make sure you get all the legs. If you're my age, you need to use your reading glasses.
Don't leave any of that tick in there.
And if you're concerned that it's a deer tick, put it in a little Ziploc bag, save it, and if you develop symptoms, you can actually have the tick tested.
All right, Dr. Danica Moore, thank you so much. And
Thank
for
you.
more health news that's good to know, check out the health page at abcnews.com.
ABC News Now. Good to know.